It was March 5th, 1963, a cold, gray afternoon that would forever be etched into the history of country music. Patsy Cline, the velvet-voiced queen who had redefined the genre with her soulful ballads, boarded a small plane in Kansas City, Missouri, with three fellow musicians. Their destination was Nashville. Their journey, however, would end in a devastating tragedy that silenced one of the greatest voices of all time. Patsy Cline was no ordinary singer. With her smoky alto and natural ability to pour emotion into every note, she became one of the first female country artists to successfully cross over into pop charts. Songs like Crazy, I Fall to Pieces, and Walkin' After Midnight weren't just hits. They were cultural milestones, blending raw country heartache with mainstream appeal. By 1963, she was at the peak of her career. Crowds adored her, critics praised her, and she was poised to become not only a country legend, but one of the most influential voices in American music history. Yet, behind the glamour of her rising fame, fate was about to intervene in the cruelest way. On March 3, 1963, Cline performed at a benefit concert in Kansas City for the family of disc jockey Cactus Jack Call, who had recently died in a car crash. The show was a success. Her voice soared, mesmerizing the audience. But heavy rainstorms delayed her return to Nashville. Instead of heading home immediately, she stayed with friends for 2 days, waiting for the weather to clear. Finally, on March 5th, she and her companions decided it was safe enough to fly. She boarded a single-engine Piper PA-24 Comanche, along with country stars Cowboy Copas and Hawkshaw Hawkins. Her manager, Randy Hughes, served as the pilot. Despite limited flying experience and questionable weather conditions, Hughes believed he could navigate them home. The small plane lifted off from Fairfax Airport around 2 p.m. and made fuel stops along the way. As the sun dipped lower, the weather worsened. Storms moved in, clouds thickened, and visibility dropped sharply. Witnesses later reported hearing the plane overhead near Camden, Tennessee. Some described the sound of its engine sputtering. Others recalled the eerie silence that followed. Within minutes, the aircraft disappeared into the wooded hills outside of Camden. It was around 6:20 p.m. when the Piper Comanche went down. The plane nosedived into a swampy forest, breaking apart on impact. There were no survivors. What must have gone through Patsy Cline's mind in those last minutes? Was she silently praying as turbulence shook the aircraft? Did she look at her fellow passengers, fellow artists who shared her love of music, and realize the danger? We can't know for sure, but investigators concluded the plane flew into severe weather and the pilot likely lost his bearings in the dark, stormy skies. It was a classic case of spatial disorientation, a deadly condition that often strikes pilots flying without proper instruments. For those on board, the final seconds would have been terrifying. A sudden plunge, a loss of control, and then impact. The crash site was discovered the following morning. The news spread like wildfire across America. Fans were devastated. The country music community was shattered. In one single stroke, 3 rising stars, Patsy Cline, Cowboy Copas, and Hawkshaw Hawkins, were gone. Cline's death hit especially hard. She was only 30 years old at the height of her powers, and many believed she was destined to become one of the greatest singers in the world, not just in country music. In fact, before her final flight, she had told friends she felt a strange sense of foreboding, even making remarks about death. She reportedly said, "If it's my time to go, it's my time to go." Those words now echo with haunting weight. Could this tragedy have been avoided? The sad truth is, yes. The pilot was not trained to fly by instruments alone, and weather conditions were dangerously poor. Had they chosen to wait another day, Patsy Cline's career might have soared to even greater heights. But fate, timing, and human decision-making combined to create a perfect storm of disaster. Even in death, Patsy Cline's voice never faded. Just months after the crash, her recordings topped charts and her posthumous albums sold in the millions. She became the first female solo artist inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1973. Her influence stretched far beyond country music, inspiring artists from Loretta Lynn to Linda Ronstadt, and even modern singers who draw from her emotional style. Her haunting rendition of Crazy, a song written by Willie Nelson, remains one of the most recognizable tracks in American music history. Every time it plays, listeners are reminded of the voice that was silenced too soon, yet somehow still lingers in every note. The terrifying last minutes of Patsy Cline were filled with turbulence, fear, and tragedy. Yet, her story is not just about how she died, but about how she lived, with passion, resilience, and a voice that carried the weight of every broken heart. Patsy once said, "I don't want to get rich, I just want to sing." And she sang, so powerfully that even decades after her death, her music feels alive, raw, and immediate. Her final flight ended in flames and sorrow, but her songs continue to soar, reminding us that while life is fragile, art endures. Patsy Cline may have left this world at just 30 years old, but her voice will echo forever. Timeless, unforgettable, eternal.